gentlemen, welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. I'm Nick McDaniel. He's Myron Fancher. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm not Myron. I'm the Lord Humongous. Happy Halloween, folks. I loved the Lord Humongous when I was a kid. Man. Who's trick-or-treating, Nick? You putting out candy? You got good stuff at your house?
So we don't get a lot because we live on a pretty busy road and we're not in a neighborhood. So it's kind of hard to get down. You know what I mean? Like people can't really walk necessarily to our house very much. So we don't generally do it.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe I should go get a bag and just have it just in case. But yeah, this road. People get hit on this road, man. It's dangerous. It is not a place to be walking, especially at night, dusk, or anything like that.
Well, where can you find our Halloween stories?
Well, man, let me tell you. Look, we've had some cool stuff come out. Now the special obviously wasn't behind the paywall. But that's why you want to make sure you are at tappedoutpod.com, which takes you straight to our YouTube channel, or patreon.com/tappedoutpod. Both, obviously, we broke the content yesterday, literally sitting at our recording, and bam, we got it knocked out. But that's why not just when you go to those, you want to become a member on both, but you want to like it, subscribe to it, obviously. But you got to turn that notification bell on over on YouTube, because on Patreon, they come automatically to your emails. And it's the lifeblood. I mean, you don't miss anything, because we're going to do more and more of those where we're just randomly cutting stuff and dropping them. So, and I think here's the thing, I really, really, really want people to, even if you're a member on YouTube and all of that kind of stuff, sign up for a free account on Patreon or become a member on Patreon. And the reason why is because believe it or not, there are character limitations on posts, like text posts. I was like, I couldn't believe that on YouTube. So it makes it difficult. So there might become more and more content on Patreon that I just can't fit on YouTube. And you can't do just audio on YouTube. You got to do the thumbnail. It's a pain. But all of the stuff for now. But I do honestly believe more and more content's coming, and that's why you want to make sure that you have your notification stuff turned on for sure.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Nick, I love that video you and Heath did. That was probably the best breakdown I've seen on the WEID program. That was terrific. Fascinating program. I'm so excited about that and everything else that's going on right now.
Yeah, if you want to hear the deep dive into that, go check that out. We recorded that. We dropped it public, by the way, because everybody's talking about, oh, you drop everything early to pay. Yeah, most stuff goes early to Patreon and YouTube. It was public. We just wanted to get it out as soon as possible so everybody would actually see it. And it was fun to do, especially on such short notice. And look, we took it was about 25, 30 minutes, roughly 27, somewhere in that window. So check that out. But look, obviously there's probably more stuff to come as more details come in. We'll probably cover it even on here and on the other show, all over the place. But before we dive in, I wanted to ask you. So I was talking to somebody. We have a mutual somebody who works with my wife. We have a mutual friend, Ray Lloyd, and we were talking about just some other stuff going on. And I asked her, had she talked to him in a while? And I was like, oh, man, like the Unbreakable Bunch actually is coming to like streaming and cable and all that kind of stuff. It's Friday, November 1st.
Yep.
We're in that thing.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool.
Vector on the front row, though. So we're behind a person.
Well, he wasn't going to see over us. I mean, so of course they put him on the front row. I mean, just saying. But look, the movie was spectacular. Look, I cannot wait for this thing to be out, be all over the place.
The story.
So check it out. Look, it just says all the streaming platforms, all the major ones. I'm assuming it's going to be probably maybe on Apple. It's going to be on
it's everywhere.
Prime.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah.
If you can't find it, just look them up on Facebook, folks. This was the part we did was so much fun. Getting to meet all these people. Oh, y'all got to check this movie out. It looks like it's going to be a blast. If I don't get to go to a show Friday, I'm going to be kicked up on the couch watching this. Actually, I might come down here and just chill out by myself and enjoy the greatness of this Unbreakable Bunch. Did you see my award?
What we're doing.
Yeah. I got an award for sexiest Halloween costume. Did you see this ribbon I got? I got it also because I stole my Tom Pritchard shirt back from my wife. And I got that shirt off Pro Wrestling Tees. The shirt's been washed 1,000 times. It's soft as can get. And yesterday, I went to Pro Wrestling Tees to get my new shirts for WrestleCade. We're at our ProWrestlingTees.com store. Y'all need to go check that out. Always love that. Got some fresh tapped out swag for WrestleCade.
That's right around the corner, man. That is true. That's right around the corner. But it's really around the corner. So Friday, I'm not sure if we're doing a show or not. I haven't locked down yet, just because I think there's some family stuff I might have to do instead. But Saturday, listen, I know a lot of people are like, hey, there's a bunch of shows on Saturday, and we're going to get to those here in a little bit. But remember, earlier in the day, because that's the crazy thing, you could probably catch this whole thing and still make your show on Saturday night. Crown Jewel is this weekend. Before we're not going to go deep into every single match or anything like that, but you know my take, so I'll kind of let you go first on Crown Jewel, kind of just overview, not detail, just overview.
I still love the presentation, Nick. Everybody might say, oh, them belts don't mean anything. They're just one-time belts, blah, blah. But when they bring them in with security guards and they have them in them cases and they put the cameras and the microphones on them as they unlock the cases and they feature the belts, they may not be worth anything, but they sure as hell know how to make them look like they're worth something, Nick.
Well, no, I think they're probably valuable belts, but I'm
talking about in the belt world. Oh, like they'll probably never. Yeah.
5 weeks after this thing's over, we probably, and look, I hope I'm wrong, by the way. Triple H may make a whole different approach to it. 5 weeks from now, doesn't matter. Because here's the problem. Here's my problem with it. You cannot make it any more important than your two champions. You've got your WWE champion and your world champions in the match. 5 weeks from now, those two belts are still going to be more valuable in the pecking order than that title. Yeah. There's 51 million reasons, we joke about it, that they're doing this. Hey, give them something that's to them. They can go right on the shelf with Braun Strowman's title he won 4.5 years ago, whatever it was, at the greatest Royal Rumble ever. Here's the thing. I'd rather see that. Honestly, I'd rather see the world's greatest Royal Rumble with 40 people in it or whatever,
I do like the cross-branding thing. I think that's fun for a night. The Nia Jax and Liv Morgan is something we don't see on a regular basis. The Cody and Gunther. God, Gunther's, somebody said for somebody who's that talented in the ring, he's a great shit talker. And he is. Man, he goes out there and puts a shame down on people. I love it when he's on the mic.
Yeah, I just think ultimately at the end of the day, I just don't think any of the title matches, and I'm using that loosely because of those two, the Crown Jewel titles, none of them really draw for me. But look, by the way, the Saudi show's not for us always. But there's only a couple of things I think are crucial long term.
It's a paid show. It's like when we go to one of these indie shows, this is a bar or something, and the bar paid to have the show there. This is what it's got. You get good entertainment. You get a great show, but it's a paid show. You're going to get a show that caters toward the person who paid for it first.
1,000%.
You're getting something for the Saudis first. But you're also going to get a really spicy storyline match between the OTCs and the Bloodline. That's a great one. Where's Sammy turn up in this?
So they teased that this week. Look, if you're listening to us through Patreon or if you're listening to us Thursday before SmackDown airs, obviously SmackDown was pre-taped. So we're kind of giving away this whole, but it's all over the internet. Here's my thing. If you're listening to our podcast, you've probably read the fact that this match was happening already.
Well, we thank you for using us for your information source.
Or that too. The only weird take is it's Roman, it's Jimmy and Jay versus the Bloodline. Well, there's 4 on the other side. So yes, now becomes the equation. Look, we've said for weeks now, probably longer, the use of making it look like Sammy might not join makes him joining that much sweeter when it happens. In my opinion.
High drama.
I just think at the end of the day, he has to be the one who saves. And, because I think, spoiler alert, right? No, I don't even know if this is, but clearly the 4 of Solo's bloodline are going to end up beating on the 3, Jimmy, Jay, and Roman.
Oh, there's going to have to be a run out. There's going to have to be a run out.
Sammy's got to be the guy. Again, now, do they debut somebody else? Is it Zilla Fatu? Is it one of the other? Who knows? I still say the money. In my opinion, the money is with Sammy.
I think you've already had to make 3 stars to put this over in the new bloodline. You had to make the...
Can I give you a hot take?
What's that?
I don't know that you've made Tama Tonga and Tongaloa yet. Jacob Fatu was a star the second he popped on the screen. Everybody was drawn to him.
You talking about,
by the way,
personality?
I'm not knocking their in-ring. Like, I get it. They're good. They do. I'm not knocking that. But to legitimately say that they are, superstars might be a little hit. They're really good. I just don't know that they're kind of that tier. Over time, they have elevated. Think about when Roman took Jimmy and Jay. Yeah. Jay's now reached, I would say he's a superstar. Jimmy is a superstar. Solo got drug up as well. Jacob's just natural, but it's my opinion. But so, like you said, to bring in another one, that you're really kind of pushing it. But I just think it just comes back because I think with the story, the full circle stuff seems to be what they're going for. Like
I mean, this story's been going on for 3 years now, and I'm not complaining at all.
Is it longer than that now?
Maybe.
Because Roman's title reign was almost, it was 3 plus.
It was almost,
4. So, I mean, it's been, anyway.
And think about it, Nick. Who is your favorite of the Gorillas of Destiny? Because I'm thinking Tama Tonga. Tongaloa seems a little off some nights. And the internet doesn't like him compared to his brother. But Tama Tonga seems that threatening. He's got that threatening aura that I like. He really sells that good. But I'm more excited about Kevin Owens and Randy Orton.
Really?
Yeah.
I look, it'll be a good match. I don't think they could put on a bad match, but
how about that big women's tag match, man?
Is this we talked about this in this Tapped Out Pod? She sends your hate mail to tappedoutpod@gmail.com. I just kind of felt like this was, and I'm not disrespecting any of the talents in the ring, because I mean when you look at it, it's really, really stacked with really good talent. But I was almost like, are we trying to? Did we go from like we don't know we can have women wrestle to like we're going to see how many women we can get to wrestle? I mean, this is 10 women on this card.
I'm telling you, they're taking some big chances, putting some talent like Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson on a card like this. They're taking them to Saudi Arabia. This is a huge statement of confidence in those two. Lash Legend is going to be an absolute superstar. Mm-hmm. She is. The problem is she's like a homegrown Jade Cargill. If Jade doesn't clog up the feed for her, she's going to be a massive superstar. God knows Chelsea Green is becoming everybody's favorite. So we'll have to see how this works out. I think it's a great show. I'm looking forward to it.
They always are fun. They're always fun.
Actually, though, I'm looking forward to Wednesday night more. Because, Wednesday, not Tuesday night, because we got the whole big, decision thing. And, we're all going to be like, regardless of what happens, we're all going to be like, God.
That's the reason I wished NXT was on Tuesday and not on Wednesday.
But we're all going to be so like, oh, thank God it's over.
It's not going to be over. That's the problem. But we're not going to go down that hole.
We need a nice distraction. And all of a sudden, Devon, get the tables. Or Trick Vaughn. Trick Vaughn.
Get the tables. Yeah.
Get the tables. Nick, Bubba Ray's back. And he's not Bully Ray. But he said the words busted open 10,000 times.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he? I mean, look, Eric Bischoff, every time he's anywhere, make sure that he talks about his podcast, 83 Weeks.
83 Weeks.
I just thought it was cool. Like when they announced they were going to be in ECW arena, call it is what it is.
That show's going to be terrific.
We were like, hey, they're clearly going to bring in it. Originally, it was like, hey, they're going to cash in every Legends contract they've got, try to anybody that had anything to do with ECW, bring them back in kind of thing. And, well, they did one up on that. Like, obviously, we knew Rob Van Dam had signed his Legends deal soon, like recently, so he's back in there in the mix. But Bully going to get in the ring. Like, that's what I was kind of like, all right.
He didn't look bad. He didn't look bad. He didn't look great.
Dude, he's still working. He's still working all over. Of course he did. He's still good.
Yeah, he still got it. I'm really looking forward to that. That 5-on-5 women's tag. I know what RVD's gonna do. He's gonna referee that match. That's the perfect match for him. It's the perfect thing for him to do. I popped so hard for NXT last night, Nick. Julia, Stephanie Vacour. Now, I've been watching Stephanie Vacour's matches on NXT. Impressed the hell out of me so far. Then they get Zarya. Jesus Christ. She's a freight train. Jordan Grace comes out. Just lost her title last weekend to Masha Slamovich.
Let's talk about that real quick. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So she drops that title.
Yeah.
She's gone, right?
Bye.
Like January when her deal's up. I mean, this is clearly
fuck you, bye.
You know, here's the thing. I want to take a moment to say something that I didn't say it in the pre-show because I was going to see what your thoughts were. How cool was it, in a way, to allow things to unfold the way they did? Clearly, they knew TNA had to know WWE's interested in Jordan Grace. They let them use her in the Rumble. They worked back and forth trying to get brand recognition on TNA throughout the year. She was still their champion. They were using her in a good way. But at the end of the day, they know they're losing her.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, is a 1-year window of them effectively saying, look, we get it, she's coming. Give us some, a little back and forth in return. And then we're not even going to, because if the WWE wanted her, TNA's not matching it. So she's gone. And we're like, clearly she's gone at this point. It has to be. Now, could we be wrong? Sure. Do I think I am? No. So, look, she's going to be, the transition was smooth. There was no fighting. It was just very well handled between those two companies.
They've given TNA so much. And we're not even talking about money. We're talking about that intangible thing we call exposure bucks and all that other kind of things. TNA is getting pops on WWE programming all the time. They're getting WWE stars on their shows. They're getting all this other good stuff. I mean, maybe the whole Joe Hendry is just to draw people to the TNA pay-per-views and stuff. Bringing Joe Hendry over is maybe they're not going to get Joe Hendry for WWE. Maybe that's the guy that they sacrificed in this deal. Maybe that was a pop just to get him exposure. I don't know. I don't know the attendance numbers for the Impact, the TNA pay-per-view, but I know the numbers on pay-per-views have been up since WWE's working with them.
Well,
so
here's the thing.
Good deal.
The great partnership. You get to test drive the car before you buy it. You bring Jordan Grace in. Hey, she's getting a reaction. We were right. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do that. We thought we were going to do this. We're going to go ahead now that we know she's getting the reaction. We're going to go ahead and sign her when it's time and bring her in. Look, maybe this didn't happen, by the way. I'm just hear me out. They brought Joe Hendry in. He didn't get the reaction they thought they were going to get. And they're going like, hey, let him simmer for another year at TNA. I don't know. It could be that simple. So you can get, like I said, you get to test drive the car before you buy it.
Jordan's going to be at WrestleCade too. So, she's not going to be.
Well, she's under contract with TNA until January. So she's still going to be window. If you're not at WrestleCade, I'm with you. It's time to get your picture and get your autograph.
Oh God. Yeah. That's going to be my first acquisition. I've got an old one from back when she was, 100, that was like 100 years ago. I got like the first WrestleCade we were at.
Mm-hmm.
I got Joe Hendry's going to be there too, so you might want to go ahead and just hedge your bets and get you a Joe Hendry and a Jordan Grace, because
could happen.
That you can't ever. But man, I am so excited to see what they're. I love it. If you ask me to pick, if out of the three WE shows, if you asked me to pick two to watch, I'd have a problem. I would have a problem picking two of those three shows to watch
It's a
because
good
I'm
problem.
really getting hooked on NXT.
And remember, at one point, let's throw it out there. I'm gonna throw you under the bus. At one point, you were just like, "There's just a bunch of." They all look like the talents are all like they're all the mold. They're all a mold.
Yes.
They
Yes.
you know they were creating a generic wrestler A, B,
Yes.
C, and
Yes.
they had like 10 versions of each and that kind of thing. And
Now some of the
now you're all
gimmicks,
in.
some of the gimmicks, ugh. I think Sean was having some flashbacks or some shit, or putting Marty through another window.
But most of them are working though. You can't
Yeah.
argue. That's the problem. Most of them are working.
Obafemi's gone. We're gonna see him up on the roster. I don't know if we're gonna see him at Crown Jewel, but we'll see him by the next pay-per-view after Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Latest, we're gonna see Obafemi on the roster. But
Well, listen, see the last of him. Well, guess who we haven't seen the last of, Myron?
oh no, we
Look,
have
we're
not
not-
seen
look,
the last of
We're not
Vince.
going down the bad, the dark, and the gruesome, and all that kind of stuff. So let's leave that to the side. But apparently, Vince McMahon is starting a new media company. It's going to have something to do with like TV and film, like fiction,
You
nonfiction.
make major motion pictures and television.
That's where I wanted to go with it. Like, is he going to like? Look, he's out of wrestling. Let's say he's just like, all right, I'm out of wrestling. But we make movies. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's what he legit wants to do now.
Darker side of the ring.
I think I think he wants to be a guy who, like, is a media dude, like a top of the food chain. Like, hey, if he's probably just trying to get, he wants a top name star. He wants to make movies, do TV show. He just wants that power and that control.
Well, there's a thing. Here's the whole thing with that. We had this long discussion about who's going to work with him, who would work with Vince. Now, it's one thing in Hollywood. You might find, and he brought his loyalists with him. That word always makes me nervous. Loyalists. But he's going to get people, he's going to be able to pay people to work with him. He's going to be able to use his contacts in Hollywood. And I'm sure he'll be able to pay some stars. But I really don't think any big name stars are going to want to work with Vince McMahon.
Do you want to know one that I think will?
Who?
John Cena.
I'm talking about non-wrestling stars.
The Rock will.
Non-wrestling stars.
Kevin Hart will if The Rock does. I think we give a lot of people credit, and probably more credit than they deserve at times. If the check's big enough, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Hollywood is so value signaling. Hollywood is so, let me show you a better person I am than you. I'm not going to deal with Vince McMahon because that's going to make me look bad. Blah, 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 blah. By the
way, you are taking a massive assumption on how this thing turns out. Because if he's cleared and if no charges are ever pressed, and this settlement thing happens, or the case goes away, or whatever, then you have to turn around and go. But then, if all of this kind of gets blown away, don't you kind of have to give him a chance at that point? Because then you're like, because if we get to a situation, not saying this is true. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just not going to go there because people don't want to hear that.
Now, are you done shitting on my ideas?
What ideas? Which? No. I'm saying just totally. No. So somebody's going to work with him. That's at the end of the day. That's where I'm going.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's going to work with him.
Uh-huh.
And because I just think that at the end of the day, anyway, I don't want to get into a political like.
We had this conversation. I think Vince, and I know he won't. I think he should ride into the sunset. But I think the minute he gets where he's not going to gets off his horse instead of riding into the sunset, he's going to die. Vince can't not work.
It's competitive. It's competition. Some people are born to be competitive, and yeah, you don't get to be where all things are taken out from a business standpoint. You don't get to where he was by not being driven and competitive, and so he I think he needs that, and he thinks.
Were you there when I was talking to Bubba about Gary Lamb at the show the other night, where it's like, damn, Bubba, get him a hobby. He goes, well, I can't.
Oh yeah, about golf. I
said, get him. I asked him to come play golf. He's played golf with me one time, and he'll figure out how to make money playing golf.
You're right.
Or start a golf tournament. Vince is the same way. He'll try to find.
Yeah, I think he wanted the movies thing like that. That quote will probably always be the thing that's it. That's what he wanted to do. To be honest with you, but we'll see. But look, that's everything for the national stuff, man. Let's do it's that time. We hop into the car and we make the drives.
Getting in the car.
Making the drives brought to you by JMartinCompany.com. Pressure washing, window cleaning, all of your home needs, and by the way, residential needs for those type of things. Yeah, they'll clean your windows, pressure wash your building, your driveway. They'll take care of your gutters, your roof, all of that kind of stuff. JMartinCompany.com. Check them out over on Facebook. It's an easy way. You could shoot them a message over there, but of course the website as well, JMartinCompany.com. Look, it's who we trust with our house, with my driveway, my home, my in-laws' home, all of that kind of stuff. So that's why I use them, JMartinCompany.com.
He must be doing a lot of washing because I haven't seen him at shows.
He has been covered up. I've talked to him, and yeah, he has been absolutely covered up in business. Because I tried to get him conveniently. I tried to get him to come out to the last Turnbuckle show there in Buford, and that brings me something. Like I told you, we did something yesterday. If you listen to the Tapped In show, we gave away 4 front row seats with a meet and greet for the November 8th show at Tannery Row in Buford, Georgia, for Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. And I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna talk to him and I'm gonna come up with something. I don't want to do something on one show and not on the other show. So yep, I got a family 4-pack for this show as well. You get to meet and greet as well. So family 4-pack of tickets. Get the meet and greet with Preston Vance, 8x10 autograph pictures, all that good stuff. And I wanted to do something a little different. We got people emailing and messaging us, and we're going to draw for the one on the Tapped In show. This one, I thought, man, let's help them out. Let's help out Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. What we want you to do is go to their Facebook page, Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. You'll see it, TCW, Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. Go to their page and like the page. When you do that, take a screenshot, something showing us that you've actually done it. You can send it to any. I'd never do this, but for Turnbuckle, I'm gonna do this. You can message us, Tapped Out Pod on Instagram, Twitter, X, call it whatever. You can do it on Facebook. You can send it to the Tapped Out Podcast Network. Send it there. Or you can email the screenshot if that works for you as well to tappedoutpod@gmail.com. Then I'm going to verify. I'm going to go to their list and verify that you do like the page. And then I'm going to take all of those and I'm going to randomly pick one to win the family 4-pack and the meet and greet with Preston Vance at November the 8th, Tannery Road, Buford, Georgia. All inclusive. So again, go to their Facebook page, like the page, and then we're going to pick and then send us the proof to tappedoutpod@gmail.com is the easiest way.
That's the perfect show for a family 4-pack to be at, because that's a great show. We see so many times people bring their families out to Turnbuckle and the kids go nuts. They have a great time. It's perfectly presented for family. Doesn't run too long. You get a nice compact show. The kids are home in time to go to bed. It's family friendly. I've never seen anything obscene at a Turnbuckle show.
Very interactive with the kids, yes. And so, like you said, you get the pictures, you get the autographs,
the
all of that stuff.
Birthday party gimmick is the best thing I've seen there. Man,
you know what? Let us know if you need a birthday party and you just want to bring. Look, 4 people, it'll get you 4 tickets to get in. We'll work. You could probably work out something, but family 4, get the meet and greet. all you got to do is like the Facebook page, and then I'm going to verify the winner still following, because you got to stay following him. And we'll get you out some tickets, and let us know through either our social media or tappedoutpod@gmail.com. But so we're glad to be working with those guys. Look, man, let's get to making the drives, though. This week, Thursday, Phoenix Wrestling Experience down in Augusta. So it's kind of like it's fall y'all brawl. It's kind of like a festival kind of thing. Like, they got a couple matches they're doing between 6 and 8. So it's just going to be a little fun thing. So kind of go out, and it's going to be more of an experience. Hence the name, Phoenix Wrestling Experience, type of thing. We love the names on the card, man. Run through them a little bit. Who all's on this card?
Fluffman, probably. This guy's got I swear to God, this guy is one of the most entertaining people I've seen in a long time. Drew Adler, big name. Wade Adams, Hunter Young, Dre the Goat, and more.
Yeah,
and more. And I don't know who that and more is going to be. So I would want to go see what's going on there.
Yeah, lots more to go check out and see, but we'll see, man.
But there's an exciting show Friday night up in Royston.
Yeah. Pause. Phoenix Wrestling Experience, Augusta, 6 to 8. Make sure you check them out. Again, like tons of stuff. They're doing some great things. I got a huge news break from them, by the way.
Oh.
Cannot break it today.
Can't break it today.
Want to make sure they verify that everything gets worked out. Lots of exciting stuff. So make sure you're following them out on social media as well. Phoenix Wrestling Experience. Now to what you're talking about. Friday night up in Royston, Georgia, at the Royston Dome. SCA. Bell time is 8 o'clock there in Royston. Man, Hunter James is everywhere, dude.
Yeah, he's kind of like a rash.
He is.
It's good to see. It's good to see they're doing so well up at SCA and getting people up there, doing good work. I love to see what they're doing up there. I love those people, except for that Rick Page kid. He's a pain in the ass. He's always fact checking me. I don't know why people think they have to fact check me. Is this a debate or something?
Yeah,
I didn't know there'd be fact checking.
Yeah.
I got Rick Page fact checking me. Little shit.
Look, Caleb Crocker, man's come back and made a huge impact right from the get-go when he returned, and so now he's got a big challenge in front of him, Hunter James, and this is one of those matches where I always like to say it's sorting the pecking order there, up at SCA. But the big question is is Tower unstoppable at this point? Well, we've put Rick Page in a cage. We've done a match that clearly was designed. The fighter web, like complete, he's in a tree. Everything is done to, it seems, seemingly take these titles off of him, and he just keeps winning. But now the question becomes: is Drox the guy? He won. He had an opportunity. He won. The Monsters Ball Battle Royal. So now it's like, hey, but here's the problem. No disrespect to Drox. We've been saying that, but about guy after guy after guy. Like, is this the one to dethrone Tower? And it just hasn't happened yet.
I don't even know what to tell you about that, because Tower has belts all over the place. He's got belts all over that part of Georgia. So I don't even know what to tell you. He might keep one or all of those belts for an extended period of time.
Yeah, he's a dominant champion, and that, especially up in that region, man. I'm telling you, he's hard to beat.
Talking about belts, did you see what happened with Seabolt? Xander Seabolt beat Jacob Ashworth for the Georgia Heritage title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jacob Ashworth, who has taken that belt back when it was the Landmark Heritage belt, and turned it into the Georgia Heritage title. And took it all over Georgia defending it. And man, what's Seabolt going to do? Is he going to make those trips? Is Seabolt going to get out there?
We talked about that a little bit yesterday. We had a whole conversation about, like, is he going to be able to fill Jacob Ashworth's shoes? I mean, it's a big, it's a big situation, big, like I said, there's some big shoes to fill, man. And so it's a challenge. And if he doesn't do it, be careful what you wish for.
Is Ashworth going to get a rematch?
I'm sure he probably will. Everybody wants to be the champion until you experience the pressures of being the champion.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to find out. That's going to be his trick.
You got that target on your back.
Yeah.
You know?
So we will see. So again, Royston, Georgia, bell time 8:00. SCA, checking them out. Like every Friday, like clockwork. Those guys keep crushing it. So we know how difficult it is to run that constant. It's over and over, week to week is a grind. No matter what you're doing, putting on that kind of show. So kudos to those guys.
Love those guys up there.
Yeah. So that's Friday night. Saturday it picks up a little bit. One show that we've got on the on the calendar for Thursday and Friday. But look, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, they're in Monroe, Georgia, 405 Community Court at the Boys and Girls Club. Bell time 7:00. This is a fallout show. I mean, It's a huge fallout show. The last show, chaos to end it.
This is your Raw after Mania. This is your show, man. Hunter James, and I don't even know what they're going to call this group. This Hunter James faction. It's scary. They got Pat Roach. They got those other two guys. I know that
You've got Grillo, you've got
Grillo.
Teo, you've got Hunter, you've got Tristan. Look, there's still a huge question mark, and this is one of the reasons you probably need to kind of keep coming to these shows, because there's still that Tyler Stevens question mark. Like with Deity, they helped him a while back. That's how he handled Xavier Reyes. When they're out of the country, so that's why they weren't there. So, but I keep coming back with, does that mean when they're back, does this thing grow even stronger? So even if you think you got them all in front of you, you kind of got to have to keep your head over your shoulder, because that is a massive question when you're talking about those two.
They've got a phenomenally strong roster. They've got great booking. They've got great people involved from the front door to the security. Everybody there. And I love the cheese fries. I got to get me some of them cheese fries. I don't even care if I got a full stomach. When I get in there, I got to go get me a Coke Zero and some cheese fries.
So we're talking about this as a fallout show, Myron, and that's because look, what's next for Billy Buck? He's bested finally narcissism. So are we? First of all, that's the question, right? Does Billy Buck move on from narcissism? Todd and Judias, what's next for them? I mean, because they're going to be they're the tag champs, but they're going to be tangled up with this group that they've got to deal with. So now are you being pulled in two different directions, being tag champions and having to deal with this situation?
But are the Approved going to team up with Todd and Judias? Or are you going to see some kind of making up? Are they going to be
they hate each other too much. They have to, right? Like they clearly couldn't even get along at the end of the show. So that's what we're saying. Like there's so much to find out what's next. But the cherry on the top, the icing on the cake, call ever what you want to, there is one match that we know for sure is going down, and that is CT Keys is defending the Southern Fried Championship against CB Suave.
There's no way this could be a bad match.
It's going to be, no, I agree. And look, here's the thing. If you're sleeping on CB Suave, dude's been bouncing around. He's been picking up belts along, on this area as well. I love CT Keys. I'd be hard-pressed to put my money against CT Keys. That is a fact. However, CB Suave been around the block for a while.
Yep.
Put a lot of miles in, got a lot of experience.
Yep.
I wouldn't call it a huge upset if CB Suave took that title off of CT Keys.
CT and CB, the battle of the initials. I am fascinated by watching this. I'm going to really enjoy. I know I'm going to really enjoy this one. This is going to be the show I get out to. This is my home show. This is the first indie show I ever went to, so this is going to be the one. And I'm looking forward to this tremendously. That match is going to be phenomenal.
So, again, check them out. That is this Saturday, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, 405 Community Court. They're in Monroe, Georgia. They do the bell time at 7 p.m. And, you can go onto their social media and you actually try to get your tickets early, so keep that in mind as well. Meanwhile, over in Suwanee, Georgia, Southern Violence and Wrestling returns to Monkey Wrench Brewing. That bell time is 7 p.m. as well. Look, is this their third? I'm trying to remember. I think it's their third. Fourth, yeah.
Great venue. And they make the most out of that venue. They've done a lovely job of what they're doing there. Very pleasant place to go see a show. Very, very comfortable, very clean. Love going there. And they're doing the best they've been able to do with that building. I love, like I said, it's It's a really good place to go see a show. And if that woman's got the tacos and the nachos, ooh, yeah, daddy, go get you some nachos and sit up there and watch this wrestling because there's some good stuff on this card.
Yeah, man. Look, Fame Zone, Axel Foley, he's going to be facing off against Dante Darko for that Southern Violence heavyweight championship. Hey, our friend of the show, Terry Lawler's going to be there, and man, they've got him to fit. We talked about Ashworth. Here's another guy we keep talking about. Terry Lawler's another one that has just traveled this state, putting his title on the line. Tip your cap, by the way, to GCW, Georgia Championship Wrestling, for allowing him to do that. He's taking that GCW Georgia heavyweight title all over Georgia. But this time in Suwanee, he's going to be defending against Ashton Martin, Jeremy Prater, and Soraya Saber in a four-way. I don't like four-ways when it comes to my friends defending their titles because they don't have to lose. So,
hey, why are multi-man matches so common on indie shows? I don't understand that because you have to pay. You have to pay these talent, and you have to bring in more talent to make these matches work.
I almost feel like at times it's easier to keep the action nonstop because there's just more people. If you want that faster paced action, it's like three. It's easier because one guy does the powder and he can take the break while the other two keep going and then they powder. I just think it's car crash wrestling. Probably that's probably not the right word I'm looking for. It's just faster paced, and I think that's probably why they do it.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
tappedoutpod@gmail.com for promoters, bookers, etc. Answer that question. Why are multi-man matches so, big? By the way, I saw David Ali make a post that he doesn't like multi-man matches. So
I personally don't like them unless there's something special going on. I'd rather see a tag team match or something like that. But Terry's got this belt on the line, which does not favor him.
Yeah, but I think I would look, and no offense to all three people in this match, Jeremy Prater's, Ashton Martin, Sarah Saber. Terry Lawler has more experience than the three of them combined. So keep that in mind. So there's my money's Terry Lawler just for the sake of it, right? You've also got the tag titles on the line. The Fade Area Militia will be defending against Nitrous and Dax Anthony. That thing's been running for a while. Nitrous and Dax Anthony, they're right there in that mix. These factions go in, and it seems like they absolutely try to take control and domination.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Black versus Brandon Watley. That is for the Hoss Fight title. That's going to be two bitty big dudes. I mean, it's going to be two big dudes absolutely throwing weight. So, again, check them out. Southern Violence and Wrestling, Monkey Wrench Brewing, Bell Time 7 p.m., Suwanee, Georgia. That is absolutely going to be a great show over there. Yeah. Up in Chatsworth, we're still on Saturday, by the way, folks. Ooh. Chatsworth, Georgia, Renegade Championship Wrestling. Bell time is 8 p.m. Look, Tyler and them are like first and the third, man. They're staying on schedule every, first and third of the Saturdays. You got this, and look, I'm going to butcher this. I had to look. I literally thought this was a typo. I typed it, by the way, off of the poster and still thought it was a typo. The Stanley Oni boys are making their Renegade debut. They're going to be the host. I think that's a podcast, by the way. I think that's what it is. Maybe, yeah, I think that's what it is. Huge, yeah, it is. They're podcasters, the Stanley Oni boys, and we wanted to make sure we give them a shout out because I'm always excited when other podcasts get involved and they're trying to help the cause. Give them a round of applause. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're the wrestling podcaster, Nick. You're Georgia's #1 wrestling podcaster.
Listen, if somebody told me somebody was awesome and they're doing it, I'm always supportive of podcasts.
No, but I love seeing other wrestling podcasters get up in Georgia. I love seeing other people get into this. If they love it as much as we do, more power to them. This has been so good to me. It's been such a great thing to have in my life, and and doing very challenging times. So more power to you, folks. Reach out and talk to me if you ever want to talk. I'm always available for any podcaster. Just not to chat. I don't know anything about advice or stuff. I'm just full of shit.
Jeremy Prater, he just successfully defended his No Limits championship. He's issued an open challenge. So look, you never know. You never know what in the world's going to pop when you do those open challenges, I always tell people I don't like them because as a champion, like, why would you ever do that? Because you have no clue who's walking out and they're not prepared. But good luck to Jeremy Prater in that. VHS, Andy Wright, and Big Andy are going to take on Dangerous Affairs, Cody McCulley and Alex Keitel. Dude, it's going to be a fight. Absolutely. If we've ever seen Cody McCulley and Alex Keitel go at it against each other, it's just a brutal, brutal fight.
Yep.
And so check that out as well. They're also going to continue the qualifying matches for the one-night tournament to crown the new Renegade Heavyweight Championship. That's going to take place November 16th, just so you're aware. So all of this stuff will play out over the next month or so. And to crown their new champion there at Renegade Championship Wrestling, Chatsworth, Georgia, bell time 8 p.m. Well, man, hey, are we done, Myron?
No, we've got what still we haven't done. We've still got the show of the week.
That's right, man. This week's show of the week, Bullpen Pro Wrestling. They're down in Villa Ricca this time. They bounce around, dude. Kudos to them for getting around and just making like a bunch of places. I've heard tell they may find a home, like a permanent new venue. But anyway, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Love
for
those
them.
guys. They are doing
absolutely
such good work.
Bull Buchanan and those guys are knocking it out of the park again. This Saturday they are in Villa Ricca, Georgia. Bell time is 7:30 p.m. And on the top, let's look off of the top. Here's the draw, man. Kyle Matthews and Frankie Valentine are split one apiece in this best of 3 series that they've done. This is it. Match number 3, Kyle Matthews versus Frankie Valentine. And look, we just had a conversation about Kyle Matthews, how highly we think of Kyle Matthews. We talked about it on the other show as well, that we probably witnessed potentially the match of the year that Kyle Matthews was one half of. Yeah. And here he is a week later going out there and like, hey, we're going to try to do this again.
I'll never pick against Kyle Matthews again. I'm sorry. After that match with QT Marshall was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen. And they called the whole thing in the ring, apparently. It was just the flow, the technique, the storytelling for a match that had no story. They went out there and told a story. And that was, to me, very, very impressive. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Now Kyle's wrestling a Frankie Valentine, a veteran wrestler. This should be phenomenal. I'm going with Kyle.
Oh yeah, 100%. Kyle's the guy. He's got to be the man in this one. Zach Buchanan and Michael Stevens. This is literally youth versus experience. It's a tough one because Michael Stevens has been around a long time. He's been a multi-time champion, being at singles, tag. But here's the thing, Myron. It's a kid's home.
His dad runs a promotion. The kid is a rising star. And when I say rising, I mean rising star. Okay? He's cooking. He's learning. He's cooking. Probably going to see some kind of designation next to his name one day.
Could be the case. Sooner than later.
Yeah, this kid is he's very impressive. He's phenomenal.
Zach?
I got to go with Zach.
I'm going Michael Stevens. Just because. Michael Stevens, here's the thing about Michael Stevens. By hook or by crook. He's one of those guys.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Michael Stevens. J-Rod versus Sean Nelson. It's for the TV title. Kind of back and forth. Sean Nelson just, he guilt by association in other places. With the good Reverend. I'm gonna go J-Rod on this one. I think J-Rod walks out of here with that title.
I got to go with the champion. Just champion's advantage.
They also got the Wonder Boys, Aaron and Ethan Dallas versus the Standard, AJ Black and Jaden Vane on this show. Look, a couple young teams. This is kind of one of those things where we're highlighting a couple young tag teams here in Georgia, both kind of getting their footing. Like Aaron Dallas obviously been around. All the other parties have kind of been there, but Ethan's pretty new. This one was a tough one to call just because of the younger. Me personally, I'll let you pick first, and then I'll give you
To
my
me,
logic.
the biggest question to me about this match is can Aaron get his brother over as much as he is? I have not got to see Ethan yet, but wherever I go, Aaron's over, very over. So the winner of that to see if he can get him over is more important than the win of this match. But I don't see them putting anybody over the Wonder Boys, so I'm going to go with them.
Well, while you're worried about like, is he going to get Ethan over? He better hope he can get him over while going under, because the standard's going to drop him 1, 2, 3. AJ Black and Jaden Vane have kind of built a little bit of a name there in Bullpen, and I think that continues. But here's the thing. This is the kind of match where I think we see something like this is the beginning of something. Like, this is a longer thing. I think these two butt heads for quite a long time, in Bullpen Pro Wrestling. But of course, friend of the show, Brady Booker, he's making his debut. If you have not experienced in Bullpen, if you have not experienced anywhere else in the state of Brady Booker, the dude just oozes charisma and energy. Yeah. It is infectious, and there's a reason why he should be everywhere in this state. Yeah. Because when he comes out, energy just like I said, the energy comes off of him. Yeah.
Look him.
Yeah, I've told multiple promoters at this point, like I'm not really sure why you don't have him here. Reach out to him on Instagram. It's the easiest place to get a hold of him.
I hate to be like, this is somebody I'd recommend, because I'm not in the wrestling. I talk about wrestling. I'm not in the wrestling business. But if I were gonna, somebody goes, who's the guy I must book in Georgia to draw attention, and that. I would have to go with Brady right now. Brady is the draw. He is the guy that can come in and make an immediate impact on your promotion. What are you going to say? How can you go wrong with that?
You cannot. You cannot go wrong with having Brady Booker on your card, because here's the kind of thing. He can open your show, yank the energy up. He's talented enough. He could be in your main event. And, oh, by the way, he's versatile enough to be anywhere in between. So that's us.
I think he'd be a good
here's my pick. I don't really care who he's wrestling. He's winning. No. That's the kind of crazy part. So that is it, man. This week's show of the week, absolutely, without a doubt, Bullpen Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
Anything else you got, man? I know, but we're going to get out of here in a minute. But I just want to see if there's anything loose ends you want. No,
man, I get just, when we put these shows together, and I sit around and I take my picture, I steal my pictures off the internet because I think by pictures and stuff like that. And I looked at stuff. The thing that impressed me most last week was the way NXT had marketed with the CW on that NASCAR team. Now, that was the secondary circuit NASCAR team. They were supporting NASCAR on the CW, and they were supporting NXT on the CW. So they got their NASCAR CW car. They put the NXT on it. They had the driver on NXT dancing. They marketed and crossed over all this. And so NASCAR to me has always been the king of branding, because they make those drivers' outfits where they can fit logos all over them. They make the cars so they can fit logos all over them. They put the WWE logo on the car. WWE is the master of branding and stuff like that. It's just a match made in heaven. And see, the CW is so serious about it that they got in on this deal, and they put that's got to be, the NASCAR's got to be their big marketing thing. NASCAR's probably their biggest expense as far as sports. I know they've got
the football. They've got college football too.
Yeah. So, but they're spending a lot of money. So that's they're serious about NXT to have one of their largest expenditures, and they're advertising wrestling on it. So I just think those people are behind wrestling. It's good to see networks seeing wrestling as such serious programming. I don't know what the ratings have been like the last few weeks, but last night's ratings probably were off the charts. I think it's probably getting better every week. The support is awesome. I like seeing wrestling treated as a sport. I know It's sports entertainment. But when they treat it like a sport and it's promoted like that, it's so entertaining and so energetic to me. This is refreshing. It's to see a network treat it like that. And the CW, Nick, it might just be a blessing for professional wrestling. That might be where your quality comes out. $25 million they paid for NXT. We've both said it. The best value in sports entertainment. They're going to continue to get great ratings. They're going to continue to turn out a great product for the CW, and the CW is going to stand behind it. And Billy almost had that with NWA. If he'd have been, what could imagine the potential of that? Imagine how good that could have been, and had that worked out.
I just think my issue would have been if any time that you thought like Billy almost had it, Billy was only going to have it if it didn't. I think I have a whole theory about that's why they went where they were. They were on the app, and then once they got WWE, they were gone. They had them in a placeholder. Had they not gotten NXT, maybe. But if I think literally they were literally the standby girlfriend.
Well, especially
we like you. We're going to date you.
We're
going to try to go out with her, and if she doesn't work out, then we're going to date you. Yeah. That's what they were, unfortunately. But that's just call that what she is. But you get those and those kind of takes even more over on our YouTube channel, tappedOutPod.com. Make sure you go to the page, like it, subscribe it, turn the notification on. So like I said, we dropped just a random breaking news, the thing with the WWE ID, easy for me to say.
It looks like ID.
And then so again, patreon.com/tappedOutPod as well. I personally, for some reason, that has turned into my favorite, the patreon.com/tappedOutPod, just because it's so much easier for me to upload everything. And I actually, by the way, signed up with another email as a free account just to kind of see. I wanted to see it from the consumer side to make sure how it works. And I wanted to be able to add the feed to Apple. It already goes to Spotify. It's already on YouTube Music through the YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So I now can see it from the consumer side, and I'm trying to make things more conducive to that. And that's also why you should let us know, tappedOutPod@gmail.com, things you want to see, things we can do to make it better, all of those type of things, content, all of those things. That's what we're trying to do here, at the Tapped Out Podcast Network. But man, that was a long show, but it not as long as I thought. It's not long as normal because there just weren't as many shows this weekend. I want to throw in here, by the way, look, if we missed your show, help me out, man. Message me the shows the week of.
How do those shows find you, Nick?
TappedOutPod@gmail.com. If you have your date scheduled, you can message me on social. Look, you can message me on Facebook. I'm cool with that. Nick McDaniel, T.O. Make sure it's the T.O. Nick McDaniel, please. That is my podcast person page, kind of thing. Just send me the schedules.
If you send something to me, I'll just send it over to Nick. He is the librarian at the Library of Alexandria when it comes to wrestling podcast. He knows everything and has all the data. If you send it to me, I'll forward it to him, and he will keep it and put it into the massive data bank.
Kudos, by the way. I want to put out a little note here that somebody who clearly listens to the show, a wrestler, I'm not going to say his name because I kind of I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's good. It was good for me. Said wrestler at a show this weekend was like, hey, I've heard you talk about this calendar that you've got this weekend. Can you screenshot that calendar and send it to me so I can look at, I don't have a show on Saturday and I want to know where I could maybe go to. So I screenshotted it and sent it back to him and said, there's the shows that I have that are running that day. So if you want to hit one up, go check them out. It's not that hard, guys. And by the way, but back to the original point, promotions, shoot me your shows. We record Wednesday mornings. If I have your show by Monday night, the week of, Tuesday even, but preferably Monday night would be awesome because then I could get the details of who's on the card and all that kind of stuff. Send us all that. We'll add you to the list. It's not that hard.
He'll have the prep notes for the indie show set up by Monday night typically.
That's the goal. Yeah.
and then he'll start working on the stuff. I'll find out my feelings on Tuesday. I go back and start looking through all the wrestling news and watching more wrestling content. So over the time, you have plenty of time to get this stuff into us.
That's the goal, man. Just if you know your show is that upcoming weekend, if I have it by Monday night, I will try to do my best to get it listed into you.
We're here to help you because we like you.
We're here to help because we're trying to make Georgia wrestling just get this as good as possible across the board. So we're not the enemy of the state here. Let's just go with that. Man, anything else before we get out of here? I got to get to work here, man. Believe it or not.
Well, what time is it? Oh, I think I know what time is it now. What time is it?
If you got nothing, I got nothing, man. What time is it?
It's time to tap out.